Let's move on to lesson 3 from chapter 1 on converting unit rates. So we've worked with unit rates the last 2 lessons. Remember, this is looking at miles per hour, feet per second, miles per gallon, price per pound. Unit means how much for one. So now we're going to convert them, like going from miles to feet, hours to seconds. Okay, so this is on page 25 in your book. And the first example we have here are squirrels, chipmunks, rabbits, and their miles per hour that they can run. And we're going to talk just about the squirrels for a minute. It says, how could you determine the number of feet per second a squirrel can run? So if you look at the chart, a squirrel can run 10 miles per hour. So that's what we're going to start with, 10 miles in 1 hour. Notice I wrote it as a fraction or a ratio. And we want to get that to feet per second. So I leave some space for my work, but this just helps me focus on what I need to change. So notice the miles need to go to feet. So you can look at your conversion sheet that I uploaded in Canvas. And we know from that there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Now I put the 1 mile on the bottom so that it's diagonal to the 10 miles. That way our miles cancel out, just like cross reducing. We wanted to get rid of miles, so that's a good thing that they cancel out. All right, now we have to go from hours to seconds. Well, there's 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. So 60 times 60 means that 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. Again, I put hours on the top. That way it crosses out with the hours that were on the bottom in the original. So the only thing I didn't cross out now is feet and seconds, which is what I wanted in my answer. So now you can multiply straight across. On the top, 10 times 5,280 times 1 gives you 52,800. And on the bottom, 1 times 1 times 3,600 gives you 3,600. Now you do need to divide that out so that we get a unit rate. So 52,800 divided by 3,600, and we're going to round this, 14.7, and we can write that down there if you want. 14.7 feet per second is what the squirrel can run. All right, if you go to the next page, there are some conversions there for you, but there's more on the worksheet or PDF that I uploaded in Canvas for you. There's a good example at the bottom there on a remote control. They were going from 10 feet per second to inches per second. On the next page, there's a swordfish example there. They're going from 60 miles per hour to feet per hour. And then the third one there is 7 feet per second, and they're going to feet per hour. All right, let's look at the bottom, and this is page 27. Let's look at the bottom, letter A. You have a seagull, and it can fly at a speed of 22 miles per hour. That's our starting point. So 22 miles in 1 hour. And it wants us to convert to feet per hour. So I'm going to leave some space, and I'm going to put feet an hour. So notice hours aren't changing, but the miles to feet are. So we need the conversion for miles and feet. And there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So again, I made miles diagonal so they cancel out. The only thing left that I didn't cross out was feet and hours, but that's what we wanted. All right, go ahead and multiply straight across. 22 times 5,280. 116,160 on the top, 1 times 1 on the bottom. Now this one you don't have to divide because it is already a unit rate. It has a 1 on the bottom. All right, if you look at letter B, this is an Amtrak train. It travels at 125 miles per hour. We want to convert that to miles per minute. So we're starting with 125 miles in 1 hour, and we're going to miles and minutes. So the miles aren't changing on the top, but the hours to minutes are. So we know there's 1 hour and 60 minutes. Again, I put the hours diagonal so they cancel out. I'm only left with miles and minutes, which is what we wanted. So 125 on the top when you multiply straight across, 60 on the bottom. You do need to divide that one out since there's not a 1 on the bottom. And we're going to round that to about 2.1. So 2.1 miles per minute for the Amtrak train. All right, let me do a 2-step with you. And let's go to number 3 under guided practice. That's page 28. So this one, Lorenzo rides his bike 5 yards per second. We want to go to miles per hour. So 5 yards in 1 second is what we're starting with. We're going to miles per hour. So you'll notice that the top and the bottom change. So we need 2 conversions for this one. It doesn't matter which one you start with. Yards to miles, they're giving you the hint right there. That's nice of them. So 1 mile, 1,760 yards. Notice I put yards diagonal to each other so they cancel out because we wanted to get rid of those. Seconds to hours, 60 minutes times 60 seconds is 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Notice again I put seconds and seconds diagonal to each other so they cancel out. All right, so on the top you have 5 times 1 times 3,600. That gives you 18,000 miles on the top. On the bottom, 1 times 1,760 times 1 is 1,760. You do need to divide that out since you do not have a 1 on the bottom. And we're going to round this to 10.2 miles per hour.